Hello everybody, welcome back to another Lost Ark video. It's Topical Tuesday, Tuesday, and it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, which means we doing Topical Tuesday, man. What is Topical Tuesday? Well, it's I go on Reddit and we look at the Reddit. We just kind of see what's popping, what's not popping, you know? But what kind of do be popping this week is some stuff. I have some stuff picked out. But we will see sort of what we got going on here. First thing we're going to look at is busing does not provide any benefit in any way, shape, or form to the new player base. So we take a look here. After reading the multitude of nonsense in the previous post that I've wrote, I feel forced to write another post to clarify what's going on in-game regarding busing. Busters do bust with the sole purpose of generating more gold to fund their rosters. If you're a new player and you're trying to progress your way through Lost Ark, you need to know that there are only some gold activities you can do weekly, and they are finite. Legion raids and Abyss dungeons are activities that generate a substantial share of your gold income. You should also know that you'll need every single bit of gold you can to be able to progress your roster/account. First problem can now be formed. Busters bust to generate more weekly gold. New players need gold to progress their rosters. Busters milk new player gold. Weekly earnings. New players now has less gold to progress. Moving on, the raiding experience in Lost Ark is the main factor that drives the player base to play the game in order to experience delightful attraction. Players get together and tackle this amazing challenge. It starts with a prog, ends up being a reclear one day. Second problem with busing. Third, fourth, fifth. Busing provides a shortcut in-game. Shortcut can be used to auto-reclear raid. Shortcut seeker doesn't experience the best the game has to offer. New player that genuinely wants to raid is less likely to find others to play with because others took shortcuts. New player looks at party finder, sees a learning lobby, 30 bus lobbies. New player gets demoralized. Veteran wants to play old content, looks at party finder, sees only bus lobbies. Vet players get demoralized. This is not the most eloquently written, but I think the sentiment is good enough, right? Like, obviously busing is not something good for the game. I've always been on team busing is like not worth supporting or whatever. Not really much you can do though in terms of stopping it, truthfully. Carries are always going to exist in any game. I do think they should probably take a stance against it just to make it a little bit more hard to do. But knowing Amazon Smilegate, even if they did take a stance against it, they wouldn't do it anyways. And it would still be this exact same situation that we're in right now. Any post about busting get downvoted so hard, good luck, bro. I mean, this is like the second most upvoted post of the week. But, interesting. The fix is easy. Make normal raids that bottleneck honing, e.g. Brel and Akan, easier and more wipe-proof. Letting people res a few times with feathers would probably be enough. Would still need to gatekeep absolute potatoes, one engraving no gems, but it would negate the value of busting significantly. Yeah, this is something that I did kind of bring up when Cody had me on for his interview. I think the raids that you're forced to do on Reclear every week should be made easier rather than more difficult. And I don't say this because I'm somebody who's like, oh, the raids are too difficult. Obviously not, right? But I think more needs to be done for the casual player base in this game because not enough is being done for them. Like, just straight up. Something like adding the ability to res an older content at least once or twice might be enough to help. I'm not really sure. I was thinking more like just mechanically, like things can be much more simplified. I mean, like I said, it's already not particularly difficult, but like, you know what I mean? I think hell mode should exist for the content to be actually difficult and challenging, or like a separate mode rather than the mode you need to do in order to progress your character to the next tier of content. You look at games like World of Warcraft, for example. You have the same kind of difficulty slider in there. Mythic is going to be the high-end shit, obviously. Heroic is pretty simple. Normal, piss easy. LFR, literal chimpanzees could do it. I think more difficulty progression in that vein would be better. I don't know. It's hard to say what can be done, what will be done. I mean, nothing will probably be done, but I do think busing is generally bad. New player experience needs to be overhauled in general. Busting definitely isn't good for this game, but unfortunately it is a solution for the devs just not doing a good enough job to help new players. Constant passes only exacerbate the issue more. Excuse me. Had a yawn. But I do agree with this as well. New player experience in general does need help, like significant amounts of help, because it's not in a good way either. And that's partially why busting is how it is. Took 731 days, but today I finally maxed out the entirety of my cards until the next card release. I had this post open because I found it interesting. Just to be completely done with cards. Like, that's insane to me. Take a look at this post. But it's just insane. That's a lot of fucking cards, man. Just bro. Hit him with the upvote. Also gotta hit this with the upvote. How did you get that much card XP? When I was close to LS30, I bought a lot of Mario card packs, the legendary rare ones. A lot isn't using my gold to buy out every legendary rare card pack for months. The dupes became good card XP over time. Likewise, KLC 30. I bought them for about a month straight instead of several months. Every X3 plus 1 pack that refreshed in the shop. Every content update 1.5 months I bought out. That in itself was around 500, 600k card XP and a good chance of the legendaries I was missing. Usually the ones that came out with the content releases like Vergers, Varkin, and Theamine. First 2 Golden Frog events, I spent 100k gold a week on buying out the shops on around 15 characters for the silver/card XP RNG boxes. The current Golden Frog event, I bought out the boxes for these 2 weeks currently. For MSQ, I did Elgash on 11 characters, Rowan on 4 characters, Plesh on 7 characters, Voldus on 7 characters. Jesus Christ, this man loves Lost Ark. Earlier on in my Lost Ark journey, I was playing around 15 characters pretty frequently when only Vault and Vicus existed, so I accrued a lot of Cube tickets. Back then I enjoyed Cube a lot more than Boss Rush due to the stages can be different in Cube. Granted, I still disliked Cube due to survival rooms and how long they took, as well as being able to 3 times them. I got a lot of card XP there. After Cube Boss Rush changes, along with buying out Guild Shop every week on those characters, I ran at least 1 cube a week on each of those characters for the Guild and normal weeklies. For at least half a year every day, I would dispatch 4 cubes, 2 in the morning, 2 before I got off at night, which gives you some card XP, nowhere near as much as running them yourself, but I didn't have any time to run all of them. As I got lazier in my playing, I got to a point where everyone has minimal tickets, so I don't dispatch much anymore. Any event that had card XP as an option, I made sure I got those. After wanting Merchant Update, I bought out the cards at merchants that always spawn with a lot, which were Rowan, Elgash, and Voldus. I think that's it. Might be missing some other sources, but I just play a lot. One thing I did not do was the Argon Island XP abuse. I only heard about it due to the patch that fixed it. Damn. Well, what can he say? This man is a fucking card fucking monger, brother. Did your arms fall off Awakening card? I love that. Next thing we want to go to is the team update combating RMT. So this post specifically here. But we're going to take a look at this. I covered this briefly in the Arconomics I did, but yeah. I'm just going to go over this very quickly, very briefly. Commenting bots and player-to-player RMT transactions is a key focus of our team. Many of our past actions have focused on reducing the efficacy and number of bots to improve the player experience of every adventure in Arcadia. We've also been developing measures to better identify action against RMT at scale. Our team conducted a major ban wave targeting accounts that transacted a large amount of RMT gold earlier this week. To accompany this ban wave, we wanted to take a moment to reiterate our stance on RMT and correct some misconceptions that we've seen circulating in the community. While we can't share all the measures that our team is taking, as that would grant those attempting to break the rules an upper hand, we can share a general look into the policies. Infractions will be punished on an escalating basis, taking into account the severity of the RMT and the number of previous infractions, all the way up to permanent bans. If a player RMT is gold, we will take it away. Spending the gold after receiving it will not prevent disciplinary action. If the player spends the gold, it can't be taken away. That increases the severity of the infraction. Leading back to the point above, we track RMT gold through multiple accounts, so washing the gold through secondary accounts will not protect an account from action. Every account involved in the chain will be punished. There's a false perception that spending money in the game prevents significant disciplinary action when RMTing. The recent ban wave includes users that were monetarily invested in Lost Ark. We know that RMT is a top player concern and negatively impacts the in-game economy for all players. We can't always share a look into our plans. We are persistently commenting bots and RMT. Thank you for your feedback and support as we work to continually improve the Lost Ark experience. So, like I mentioned in my Arconomics when I went over this shit, basically, the general thoughts that I have is this didn't do anything knowingly significant, like, meaningfully significant, excuse me, not knowingly, meaningfully significant. to like any ARM tiers. I mean, maybe Billy from down the street who bought from Chinese Gold LostArk.co.tk got banned, but people who are massive whales who very clearly spend more than the daily limit that they'd be allowed to spend in game are still playing the game. You can see them online. And obviously, another thing that I mentioned in my Arconomics video is many of our past actions have been focused on reducing efficacy and number of bots to improve the player experience. Basically, I focused on this because this says that they've been focusing on this in the past, and I just disagree, because you can see, look at the Steam DB, even over the last 4 or 5 months, like the player numbers have really just kind of slowly gone up. And it's not going up in a good way, it's going up in a robot way. I totally understand what this post is about, but I just wanted to like bring it to attention that like even this isn't necessarily true unless they're talking about that one time last year where they like really sat down and hammered it out and like tried to focus on bots for a little bit. If they did that again, that would be great. The game really needs that, but the game has not gotten that since that first time they did it. And this RMT ban is like the same thing. It's just lip service, for what I can see. I would like this to be true, and maybe they're just like slow rolling more bans. I don't know. We'll have to see. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like this has done too much. Last thing I wanted to touch on. Oh, actually, let me read the comments here. Team update commenting RMT. The RMTers I know are still happily playing. Know multiple people that RMT regularly. They never got banned before. Some bought very obviously big amounts. Lame-o, I believe it when I can see it. True. They don't give us any metrics. Name of people banned or players. Yeah, we have to look at fish as our only way to figure out if they ban bots or not. Fish goes up, ban wave happens, low RMT transactions. I mean, sort of. This is true. I would look at more than just fish, though. I'd look at the price of blue crystals as well. But I think fish is a good indicator for, like, the mass amounts of, like... Fish, level 10 gems, and blue crystals are what I look at personally. But fish are a good indicator of, like, the mass quantities of, like, just farming bots. And yeah, fish haven't really done anything. And if anything, fish have gone down. Name and shame the biggest offenders like gacha games do. I think this would be helpful, TBH. Like, a ban list would be nice, just to, like, show you're doing something. But I get it. The last thing that I wanted to go over, which I also made my own video on, I went over the one thing that was, like, major to me. I guess maybe I should have went over, like, the whole ping stuff, too. But, like, I think the ping stuff is irrelevant when it comes to specifically what they've already shown they're going to mishandle, right? Because with the EU West and EUC merge, the server obviously went from EU West to EUC. The ping difference is not that big. So they didn't really have an opportunity to mishandle how they handled, like, the central server. I definitely think there's more room for them to mishandle it with the NA merge, for sure. But I just, at this point, you just have to wait and see for that. I know how they handled the naming shit was awful, which is why I focus so heavily on the names, because I know they did that horribly, and I know they are going to do it horribly again unless people bitch about it. Basically, they need to do both these things right. They need to do the servers right, they need to do the naming right. If they do either of them wrong, so many people are going to quit, it's going to be pointless. But basically, the TLDR of this, I'm not going to read this out entirely. The TLDR is, though, that at the very bottom here, server merges March 6th and 13th. We plan to run 2 rounds of server merges that will target all regions to enhance the group gameplay experience in the world of Arcasia, specifically on NA West, NA East, and South America. So all the servers are getting merged down, and then in the summer of 2024, they plan to merge NA West, NA East, and South America into one enormous region. So this is why I focus mostly on the naming thing, because again, they've shown with the EU West and EUC merge that they handled the names wrong, horribly, terribly bad. Another thing with this is obviously the server placement. Server placement is very important, and like I said, they have no prior experience messing this up, because with the EUC and EU West thing, they couldn't really mess it up. But here, they definitely can. What I think should be done, and I'm not even sure if this is possible given how Lost Ark is functionally created, but it's something that games have been doing for many, many years at this point. Just put yourself on an instance that is the server closest to you, right? Like, I can connect to the server that's just like NA, right? I connect to the server NA. I am residing on the west coast of NA, right? So if I log into the NA server, it will naturally put me on the server closest to where I am physically located. They have the technology to do this in video games. You know, many games do this. Pretty much any game that's online does this where possible. Will Lost Ark do something similar? Who knows? Can they even do something similar? Again, who knows? The answer is probably, but will they? I don't know. If they don't do that, it is very concerning where they decide to put the servers, for sure. If you put them on NA West, I think you're killing South America. If you put them on NA East, you are killing Oceanic, which there are a lot of Oceanic players who play on NA West, right? If you put the servers in South America, I mean, everybody but South America will be mad. It's just an iffy game. We'll just have to wait and see, really, there. But those are the two major things, and they do need to do it right, because if they don't, shit's not going to be good. But anyways, that's Topical Tuesday for this week. Thanks for hanging out with me as always. Thank you to my Tier 2 members, Blitzel, Remix My Life, I'm Nufu, Like Jacob Clouded, and all my Tier 1s, It's Biscuits, Ender, Diz, and Arturus. I'm outie. Bye!